our problem.
Well, apparently we'll have to wait and see what the court date, what happens on December 1st. And after that, I honestly, I guess we'll have to just work with the building department to get something done. If we have to go to higher courts, and we'll do whatever we have to do, but we have to wait to December 1st before we do anything. I mean, as far as zoning, as far as your safety, if something were to happen between now and then, you make the call to the police department 100%.
Fine.
Yeah, but they keep finding them, but if the finding isn't helping their neighbors, that's not going to make your life easier or anyone living around there. So
She's right about getting harassed, because I was up there.
I've seen it.
I was up there last June, I think. When was it? When I came up? I can't see. When I came up to your house when they were harassing you, when was that, in June?
That was, about June, when they
And
put
I
the
went up there
signs
and
up.
I calmed them down,
And he said, as soon as he's getting us, he threatened us, we heard it. I had that on video.
But he should continue to be fined in whatever interval we have the ability to fine him and allow those fines to accrue. At a very minimum, while we're waiting for the court's determination. If he's in violation of the court order, then the court's going to have to decide how they're going to handle it.
Well, that's what we'll find out December 2nd. The court case has to come up.
Can we send somebody up from the other property, if they move your trucks to the other property?
They are. They park, I got videotaped.
Yeah.
I can show you trucks coming in and out.
Oh,
I'm
maybe.
taking pictures, but I'm afraid to take pictures anymore.
No, well, I know
The
our
lawyer asked me to get as many pictures because, I don't know.
building department was up there. Our building department was up there on Wednesday or Thursday of last week, and they had seen the truck parked on the neighbor's lawn, or wherever it was, I don't know the property owner. But then when they went back at night, I believe they moved everything back on the property, or logs and everything else. We'll certainly going to watch the case on December 1st to make sure that gets through. But I will make certain that something is done between now and then, especially for your safety. That's the number one issue. I'll speak to the chief about it, and we'll certainly make sure that the number one issue is that you're safe up there and you're secure in your own home, or you're able to go outside and not have to work.
I can't go shut alone. I have to wait for people to meet me. I can't, I'm sorry, I'm afraid.
And, excuse me, you also mentioned with the order of protection. Don't be afraid to hesitate to call the police at any harassment, because what that does is that documents the incident. So when you go back to court for a new order of protection, you have a document.
I do, but you know what, it's always falling in a gray area, I'm told. Like things that he does, he's smart, it doesn't warrant enough for the police to be able to do anything about it. One day I was driving down my road, and about halfway down, he turned up. I know he knows it's my car. He kind of came off, like veered over, speeding up.
Right. He's doing enough, but not enough.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
He's trying to.
There are signs facing our house with fingers.
I
You can't believe what this is all about.
I think everybody here, like you said, if I lived next door to that, and my neighbor was doing that, we'd all be upset, And that's why the court has to take, I know a $10,000 fine is a lot, but if I was the judge and he told me I'd hold him in contempt.
All right, if he's in violation of the court order, they can hold him in contempt. They can take him.
His father's name is on the property. His father's name is on the property, Dominic. He's the one who's been showing up for court. Todd.
At a minimum, can we send the building inspector over to the neighbor's house as well and have them knock on the door and say, look, cease and desist in terms of, and then we should be finding this guy on an ongoing basis.
Okay, thank you. Fred Marino?
I don't have a speech or anything, but I live on 18 Lindbergh Road, one door up from Margaret. And when I went to court on Monday, all the trucks were there, and we got up and Mr. President, we showed some pictures to the judge. He said, we're in compliance, Your Honor. Everybody shook their hands, and out the door they went. And on my way home, the trucks were still there. They were there on my way to court, and when I came home, they were still there. So I just want to come in support of, I didn't want just one person from the street to be there, so that's it. That's all I have to say.
Well, we appreciate you coming out. Like I said, we're aware of what's going on too.
Yeah,
But it's nice.
obviously.
It's always nice to make to make sure that the neighbors are all back. So, Susan Figueres.
Susan Polaris, 87 Mott Farm Road, Tompkins Cove, New York. Today I got about 7 phone calls at home. They're cutting trees down on Beach Road. Unfortunately, I had ill parents. I do work full-time, although I don't think people know I work, but I have to pay my own mortgage. I took the phone calls. I ran out the door to go to the doctor with my ill parents. On my way home, I'm driving to Beach Road, trying to see what the trees were. And I look, as I always do, at the Waldron Cemetery. We've got tree trucks parked in the Waldron Cemetery. And of course, I did a U-turn, it was quite legal, and promptly went right down the access road for the cemetery. They have driven over the graves in the cemetery, at the very far edge of the cemetery, up against the railroad track.
Who's they?
I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
And as I'm tromping around all by my lonesome, I call the supervisor who's like, I'll find out. Okay, that's legit, I'll find out. It turns out, and I'm not quite sure because I intend to call the Public Service Commission commissioner. I'm done. It was apple tree trimming. Bernadette took all the information. Okay. They didn't have the buckets, but the big the big pickup trucks with the side toolboxes and nonsense, 2 different cars, nowhere to be found, and fresh cut trees, about 3 feet in diameter, okay? So as I tromped around, I hung up on Jeff, I called Barry Brooks, the president of the Sons of the American Revolution, and I said, you better get down here, we've got people in the cemetery, and they've cut a road in. Now, let me clarify that. When you take a grassed area and you repeatedly drive over it with a car or a truck, you get the ruts, you get the path. The path is cut in up against the rail. There is no way that there is a single entity with 1 inch of common sense that does not know what's in that cemetery. Because I have papered, plastered, nagged, told, and published how far the graves go in that cemetery. And they go right up to the railroad tracks. Now, when you get 20 feet off the rail, there are no headstones because the headstones have been knocked down or gone away. We know the graves are there. When Mr. Brooks came, we got in my car, drove further down the road they cut. And I halted at a point because I was not brave enough to continue driving, and we got out and we hiked until we found the men in the trucks. I asked for a supervisor. He explained that they were driving over the graves of the people buried and that we objected to it. Gave them my name, phone number. I will send to Jeff the names and the phone numbers I got from him, from the foreman, and Mr. Brooks will do the same. This is Orange and Rockland, if that's who they were clearing the area for. That's who they said we think we're clearing it for, Orange and Rockland. Orange and Rockland's owned by Con Ed, so you can get into who's on first, what's on second, and I don't know who's on third, depending on who they want to blame. But it's frustrating, and it's enough to make me crazy. I would ask every single one of you to take 5 minutes tomorrow. I will send you the name and address of Audrey, I can't think of her last name, the president or the chair of the New York State Public Service Commission. I would ask you to write to any reporter you know. If not, I'll call up a few names and explain that our Waldron Revolutionary War Cemetery is not a parking lot, nor is it a roadway. Go ahead.
Shouldn't we be calling Orange and Rockland?
Oh, I'm going to call Orange and Rockland.
They're the ones who pay the taxes on that property.
I'd like to know exactly how much in taxes they pay.
Well,
I think that's a really good
The assessor
thing to know.
is here, you can talk to
Well, don't you think you should tell us publicly, and then this way the people of the town know how much they pay?
I don't know. But should we be talking to them about work that they're doing on a cemetery that we maintain without contacting the town and having an idea of what their plan is for that site?
Oh, I'll give them the same courtesy they gave us. I'll copy them. I'll at least include them. I will leave you to do whatever you would like, but you need to do something. You need to put it in writing. You need to publish it. You need to inform Orange and Rockland, Con Ed, Chippy, and CSX that they do not have the right to desecrate that cemetery. That's what I'm asking you to do. Write a letter, publish it, put it in the minutes, release it to the newspapers, and state, we will not tolerate the desecration of the cemetery. That's what I'm asking for. Not politely. They know it's there. We've got enough documentation in for people to know what's in that cemetery. And do I sound like I'm not compromising? Yeah, I'm not. Okay.
I don't want to be the bad, is this off again? I don't want to be the bad, I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes, but just, well,
I'm
we have to
done.
do 5 minutes, I just want to make sure, I don't want to be the bad guy until I get out there, so let me give you a minute or two, how's that? I know you got more,
What a headache.
go ahead.
Okay, the trees that were cut down on Beach Road, we had this discussion, and yes, the town was contacted, and I don't remember what they looked like prior. I just wish we had better communication, because I'm gonna give you a little trail here. All winter long, the Stony Point website on Facebook and the Rockland County website had the most magnificent pictures of eagles. Eagles feeding, eagles flying, eagles soaring. Oh my gravy. Thank you, Cheryl. She wrote the most gorgeous article in the Rockland County Times. We've taken down some of the trees. I can donate $100 right here tonight to start to replant the trees. Eagles are a very specific animal. If you take their habitat, they leave and they never return. So I'm going to ask, maybe we can communicate a little bit better so that we look at the assets and the things that we have. And I understand there are reasons to take down trees and so forth. But the eagles are an untapped resource for the town of Stony Point, and we may lose them.
Thank you, Susan. Just, I was down, I took a ride down there after speaking to you when I was leaving work today, and I spoke to the supervisors as well. They came to my office and explained why they were taking down trees. I won't get into it too in detail, but for safety reasons, some of them are hanging over the street and whatnot. I agree with you 100%. While I was down there saying the same exact thing, it would be nice to replace the trees. Obviously, it's going to take years to grow to where they are. However, it would be very nice to replant in that area where they're taking them down. So I agree with you on that. So we will do that, and you could, I'm only teasing to check, but we're gonna do that. Come spring, no, that's not what we're looking for. Come spring, we're gonna, that's certainly one of the things on our list. As far as communication, Mr. Brisson knew about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's superintendent of highways and he takes care of the roads, and he points out the trees that are dangerous, and they go around town. So the communication is there. It's with an elected official that's doing his job and doing a great job, I might say. Okay.
But the people of the town need to know as well.
Susan, if that was the case, we have to, every day we do projects around town. We cut trees down, we cut curbs in and everything else. So we'd have to hire about 4 more secretaries for Mr. Brisson to put out everything he does.
We have a website.
Yes, I know that.
There's no reason.
George
to
Matanovic.
George Matanovic, 597 Old Gable Road, and president of Space. Just like to mention or add on to what Susan said about the trees. We had a lot of, Orange and Rockland's done a lot of cutting of trees recently. I was here at the last meeting mentioning it. I'm not sure how much the town board knows about that or whether it's shared with you or not. It seems like something that, I called the supervisor at the time, the Orange and Rockland supervisor about it. They claimed that there was a transmission line being put in from Jackie Jones going down Willow Grove Road, and that this required them to clear, I think this is 60 feet. So there's quite, if you go up by my house up that way on Willow Grove Road to the park, you'll see it's really quite different. I don't know, it seems excessive to me. I guess I'd like to find out, or I'd like the town to find out what other plans they have, because obviously you can't fix it after the trees have been taken down, but it seems to me, as a town board, you know, we're talking about wanting to promote tourism. The park is certainly an asset to the town, and we kind of changed the entrance to the park now pretty significantly. Maybe that'll look a little different once things start to grow in again in the spring, but it's a pretty severe cutting, and I live up there. I think it's pretty severe cutting. I told them about it, and they claimed that this was necessary because of what they call the transmission line, not just a regular distribution line, but this line coming down from Jackie Jones was a transmission line. But as what Susan was saying, I guess it would be good, in the case of the Beach Road, I got some phone calls about that as well. And it would be good for the town to, at least, if the town knew about that, that's fine. I guess Mr. Brisson was the one who requested it. But certainly every tree that's next to a road shouldn't be cut down. There's some beautiful roads that are covered by trees. I think one of the most beautiful roads in the county is the one that leads up to my house. I think Gageville Road is probably one of the most beautiful roads. And there are trees that cover that road. I don't think our objective is to try and cut